Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Mike Quirk. I'm the Executive Director at the Overlook Communities Independent Living here in Charlton, Massachusetts. Given the times, we are here to host a webinar. Sorry you couldn't be here in person, but this is a great way, given, again, the context and the situation, to be able to still communicate and provide information, important information, as you deliberate and consider this as an option. First and foremost, I just want to acknowledge that we appreciate that this is a significant move in your life that you're considering. It's a really big endeavor, and we therefore like to try to provide resources, not only of our own information or internally, but also resources around us that can help take some of the mystery out of this move, given the circumstances and given how big of a move that it is. Part of our mission is to support a high quality of life and to help support along the way throughout the decision-making process. And again, that's a big part of what we're here to do today, is to hopefully be a resource of information and to provide other resources as well. Big part of the process, as you all know, is real estate. Most are accessing their nest egg or your nest egg in the form of your primary residence and its equity that you've saved up or paid into over the course of your working life. So we understand that that is a big part of this process. Many people use that equity as to support or subsidize an entry fee deposit in this case, or whatever your next living situation might be. So again, a really big endeavor that relates directly to your primary residence and to real estate. That's why we focus on the resource and providing information, as much information as we can during this process. And our team recognizes this. Myself and other sales advisors on our team have been involved in real estate in the past, so we really are sensitive to that and try to bring in the best professionals that we can to advise and to help provide information. For buyers, it's not only an opportune time, which we'll talk a little bit further, Michelle will talk a little bit further about in a few minutes. And so for buyers, it's not really an opportune time right now. For sellers who are also buying into the high market, it's also not the best opportunity. For those who are buying and changing their circumstances and able to take advantage of no capital gains on the equity from your home if you've lived there 2 years or more, that is the real opportunity that people face, and that's what triggers this informational meeting and bringing in of the resources to talk about real estate today. This is a big opportunity right now in the real estate market to make this move. Oftentimes we have residents, either our current residents or prospects, tell us that they wish they had moved in sooner to capitalize on the quality of life, the maintenance-free lifestyle, and all of those good things. I'm going to go through that briefly in a second. But that also has to do with capitalizing and getting the most out of your real estate sale. And where our entry fees are pretty stable or stabilized year over year, this is a great opportunity. All that being said, I'm going to highlight I'll be quick about it because we don't want to make this too much of a sales pitch. We want it really to be informational and a big opportunity to gain perspective on the real estate market. But I do want to offer you some slides and information, and I'll go through them now to talk a little bit about the opportunity to live here at the Overlook. So here's what we look like today. Over the course of the last 15 years, we have created this campus that we're here sitting on now, which sits on 400 acres with 220 apartments and cottages in independent living, 28 apartments related to a rest home or enhanced living, 14 apartments memory care assisted living, and 141 skilled nursing beds or units on our campus. So that's what you see here, and it's a great aerial view. We are voted best retirement community by Worcester Telegram and Gazette in the best of Worcester voting, which is voted by the readers for 3 years in a row now. So we really take a lot of pride in that and think we are the best senior living community in the area as voted. So what is a CCRC? This is an acronym. You'll hear a lot of acronyms. We try to do our best to avoid acronyms and explain the actual words that the acronyms indicate. But a big one that you'll hear and what we are here on campus is a continuing care retirement community, or CCRC. And that's a community that provides independent living and high quality of life facilitated therein, with future healthcare opportunities or provisions on the same campus. And also, just as a side note, not only on campus, but in your home or apartment or in homes throughout the community in Massachusetts in the form of a visiting nurses association. And so those are the services that I just mentioned as it relates to what we have here on campus, including the VNA. And so there are a great deal of healthcare resources and a great infrastructure to get the care that you need when you need it, supplemental to your independent living experience here. Really what we talk about prior to the healthcare provisions, because we all will need them or need them from time to time, and that can often be unanticipated, or we can be proactive about it and seek healthcare assistance. But on the other side of the coin, we really work a lot and strive hard to promote and facilitate opportunities for wellness and well-being, which is more of a health prevention or a healthcare prevention measure. Live the best quality of life that you can, and ideally need less healthcare. Fitness is a big part of that. We have a health and fitness center, which is extremely dynamic and robust. We have classes and classroom space that offer yoga and other classes. We have certified instructors in all of those types of areas, an indoor lap pool with water aerobics and equipment, substantial amount of equipment in our fitness center, and many take advantage of that. Another shot of our fitness center. You can see some of the machines and aerobic implements that we have in there. Tennis court, and which we recently striped for pickleball. So that's an important opportunity too for health and fitness as it relates to physical wellness. Incredible amenities, which throughout this summer, I will just note that our gardens have looked amazing. We do have water and irrigation down there, which was necessary, as everyone can imagine, especially the second half of the summer. But really, a lot of residents took, more so than normal, took advantage of our raised garden beds and ground plots throughout that gardening area, and made the best of it, and made the best of the circumstances, and got out and really worked on their gardens, and they were great this year. What a great opportunity for people. Another amenity is this Performing Arts Center, which you see here. We have all kinds of entertainment on a regular basis, or under normal circumstances. We have events that are open to the community and our residents, all kinds of different entertainment throughout the year in scheduled fashion. And it's really a state-of-the-art facility. Woodworking shop, you can see a couple of our residents here, and if that's something, you know, that some folks, when you're giving up your house or your workspace at home, that you might like to do these types of things as a hobby, or to work on the house, or have space with a wood shop and different tools and equipment, we have that all here. So it's a great opportunity in this shared space to do that. We have game room space as well, hiking trails, and all kinds of different amenities that people can take advantage of. The library you see here, just to give you a feel for what that looks like. We do have a committee and a librarian, resident librarian, who takes care of everything here in the library. 50 resident run clubs. You can see some of the examples on the left side of the screen. The Brew Crew is one that you see here in the photo. Those are all our resident brew crew members who work with a master brewer who moved into the community. He's a resident, and they have made near to 26 or 28 varietals over the past few years that they've been brewing here on campus. It's a really great committee, resident driven, cross-country skiing, gardening, knitting, photography, wood shop, walking group. I'll also note it's not on here, but there are more formalized committees too. So these clubs tend to be more of like a leisure activity club. We have committees like the resident council, the resident finance committee, the resident building and grounds committee, the resident health advocacy committee, and those are a little bit more formal, what we would call vocational wellness, where people have worked and contributed extensively throughout their careers and working careers, and still have, it's still very meaningful to continue to contribute in those ways to this community for many of those folks who participate in those committees as well. Dining options, we have the Acacia Restaurant for elegant dining, Tucker's Cafe for bistro style dining, so a little less formal and casual with takeout options, and a private dining room which accommodates up to 14 that you can schedule a private dinner and a private catered dinner in as well. Contract options I'll touch on briefly. Like I mentioned earlier, part of what many use as a vehicle for paying the entry fees, which you'll see here and we'll talk about, use their primary residence and equity that they've gained therein. Now, there are a lot of different places that you all might find savings or assets, and that really comes down to the individual and their financial plan as far as where they get the money from. But oftentimes we'll see that part of the assets that folks have accumulated come from the primary residence, which is an important part of today's discussion and our offering of real estate information. So the fee-for-service model, which is first there on the screen, includes an entry fees that start at $82,500, and there are refundable options. There's 0% refundable, there's an 85% refundable option, for instance, and those are the percentages of refund that you get on the entry fee. Monthly service fees starting at $1,800. Now, the monthly service fee is the all-inclusive monthly fee that you pay for everything all in. The only exception for things that you might be billed on is extra housekeeping service that you might request beyond the every 2-week cleaning. That's one example. Another one is trips and travel. When there's trips and travel that there might be a ticket or some sort of associated cost involved, are added monthly to the monthly service fee. Other than that, this is again an all-inclusive monthly service fee, which includes all your maintenance, housekeeping bi-weekly, spend down credit for dining. So all of the really everyday costs are in that amount. So consider it sort of a sustainable monthly service fee. Life care, we have entry fees starting from this $82,500. The difference is that the life care premium that's on the second line, the $50,000, is a prepaid medical expense option, prepayment into life care, which would offer opportunities for care across our continuum, certain levels of care that are included in that. So it's sort of like a policy that ensures that you'll mitigate costs or minimize costs for these other healthcare services in the future and preserve assets. So those who buy into the life care product, and we can certainly get into more detail, our sales advisors are equipped to be able to provide more answers as you go, because typically you're navigating this process over time and have those resources, the sales advisors, to help you along the way with that. Again, monthly service fees, you'll see that there's a difference there in the $2,550 over the $1,800 in fee for service. So look at the premium, which is the initial deposit of the $50,000, $20,000 for the second person, and the difference in the monthly service fee is like a premium for future healthcare costs, including long-term care and our enhanced living. So life care, I just went through most of this. I'll touch on a couple of these elements. The preserving financial assets, part of that, just to highlight the difference between life care and fee for service. Fee for service, you pay for your other medical expenses, like if you needed physical therapy, occupational therapy, rehabilitation in our skilled nursing that wasn't covered under Medicare, or you needed skilled nursing care in our skilled nursing center in the future, those services would be paid for on a fee-for-service basis as you go. There's more included in the life care in that you pay the same amount monthly in perpetuity. Long-term care and enhanced living are covered within that monthly premium in perpetuity for as long as you're at the Overlook. Monthly service fee includes all the things I mentioned before, all your utilities, everything you typically pay for at home and beyond, because now you're getting some of the concierge services and other services that we would sort of provide here beyond the home. For instance, you have the pool and fitness membership, which is a substantial, monthly fee if you're going to join a gym and outside. All your snow removal, trash removal, transportation, scheduled transportation, dining plan, as I mentioned, housekeeping, all the programs and entertainment that's included here, 24-hour emergency support and security if anything goes awry. And we will have a time for questions as we move forward after Michelle's presentation, but I would like to introduce Michelle Terry, who leads a team at Exit Real Estate, who is here, and thank you to Michelle and her team for providing us with information today. Michelle works with many of our prospects as they come to the Overlook and are considering what they should do with their primary residence to make this move. Again, I'll just note again or reiterate, we understand and appreciate that this is a significant move. It often takes a long period of time or an extended period of time to make this decision, to gather up all your resources and to make this happen. I mean, just to make the move, we're talking about 60 days. And beyond that, it takes, months to get prepared for it, given that you might have lived in your home for 10, 20, 30, 40 years. So we fully appreciate that. So Michelle Terry and the Michelle Terry team are here to support and provide some information on the real estate market. I'll hand off to Michelle. Thank you very much to Michelle for being here.
Thank you so much, Mike. I'm sitting here today in one of the Overlook's apartments. It is absolutely beautiful. Nice high ceilings. There's a lot of sunshine, beautiful moldings. It's a really, really nice unit. So like Mike said, I'm an area expert in the real estate industry. I've been in this area for 23 years, and it's always a good idea for you to meet with a couple of different professionals to get an idea of what the professional realtor has to offer to you, and make sure you have a good feel with that agent. So I'm here with some general knowledge as an area expert, and I'm going to tell you today is an absolutely amazing time to sell your house. We are in a true seller's market. We'll talk a little bit about that through this presentation and how you can really capitalize on your home investment. Today is just the best time to do that. So we'll talk about all of that. So I do have some slides here to follow through with, and it has some data and some great information for you. So what you're going to see on this slide here, it's going to be some information across all of Massachusetts, and then we're going to break down to the central Massachusetts area. So what you'll see on the top slide is sales. We are lacking inventory this year, and when we're lacking inventory, you're going to see that the median sales price across Massachusetts will rise. So last year, for the entire year, we had, in the state, we had about 37,229 sales. This year to date, if we took August last year to today, if we went through the end of August to today, we had almost an 8% decrease in sales. And it's not that the market's bad, it's the opposite. The market's fantastic. There's just less houses to sell today. So what is happening across the board is our median sales price is really coming up dramatically. Last year, across Massachusetts, our median sales price was $415,000. Today, it's $449,000, and that's across the state. We have had an 8.2% increase in value, days on market. So last year we had a pretty fast-paced market, but there were listings to choose from. This year we don't have many listings. So you're going to see that last year we had an average of 62 days on the market. That was from start. We posted your listing to the closing date. This year it's relatively close, and we're down to 59 days on the market as an average. You'll see listing inventory for the entire year last year. We had about 52,880 listings across Massachusetts. To date, we're at 46,013. So we're down 13% on our inventory from where we were last year. And you can see if we break that down to central Massachusetts, you can see here that we have had less sales than last year. We've had less units sell. We had 5% less. And again, it's because we don't have a lot of houses to sell. So there's lots and lots of buyers out there right now that just can't find a suitable property for themselves. Our median sales price across central Massachusetts has risen as well. Last year, for the year, we had a median sales price of $302,250. This year, we're at $329,000. That's the median across central Mass. And our figures went up 8.9%. The days on the market last year was 59 on average. This year, we're down to 53. So it's that start to finish. So it's taking a little less time. We still have, the homes are selling very quickly, but then you have to wait for the banks and the appraisers and the attorneys to get through their whole transaction. So that's what those days represent. But the next thing you're going to see here is the listings. As you can see, we're down about 1,000 listings from last year so far. So we're down 13% on listing inventory, but we have a lot more buyers out there. So what that means for you is that buyers are so much more, they're competitive, they're forgiving. Homes last year, we might have listed a home and you really needed to get it ready. We needed to make some improvements, touch up paint, maybe install some new countertops, fix some things. This year, we still want to make the house look nice. We want it to look really, really professional and nice on the internet, but buyers are so much more forgiving that we might not have to put those new granite countertops in or do some, a bunch of painting. So buyers are definitely purchasing property without you having to go to, great lengths to get it ready. And that's something that I would talk to you about as an area expert, or your realtor would talk to you about. The, let's see. Just excuse me so I can get to my next slide here. So this is pretty important, the absorption rate. So the absorption rate right now is 1.3, and I'll explain what that is. As of today, in the Worcester County, we have 1.3 months of listing inventory. This truly represents a seller's market. We would need to have between 5 and 7 months of listing inventory to represent an absolutely balanced market. A balanced market meaning the seller puts their home on the market, they get it ready, they list it up for sale, and then buyers can look at several homes and really think about the property that's going to be best for them. So that's the market you would have with 5 to 7 months of inventory. Right now, we only have 1.3 months of inventory. So what that means is that buyers need to make up their mind very quickly. They need to be competitive. Many times today, we're seeing multiple offers. We had a property, and this doesn't happen to everybody, but we recently had a property that had 55 offers on it. and the property sold significantly higher than the market value. So we would talk about what that would mean for you on your particular home. So that just shows us that now is an absolutely great time to sell your home. So when I get a phone call, and most of us agents do things, you know, pretty much the same. When I have a person calling and they're trying to get ready to get, you know, they're thinking about selling their house. Now, for the first thing you need to understand is it doesn't matter if you're looking to sell the house a year down the road or next month. We can come out and take a look at your property and give you some ideas and to let you know what the price range would be now. So when I get a phone call to help someone, or maybe they're thinking about selling their house, I just want to talk to you about what that typical appointment, that first appointment would look like. We would call that a pre-listing appointment. And typically, we would pull data from the town assessor's office and meet up with you. We'd have a set appointment. We would meet up with you and we would review that information with you. So everything that the assessor's office has on file for your home, we would see if there's any discrepancies. That's going to be where they have the, you know, 4 bedrooms, 2.5 baths. We go over that information. How big is your lot? So I can tap into any Massachusetts and Connecticut. I work in Connecticut as well. We can access any assessor records prior to coming to your home. So I would come over, we would take a tour of your home, and I would be taking lots of notes. I'm going to take notes. I ask so many questions. I'll be asking about upgrades, improvements, you know, what have you had difficulty with? I'll notate everything. I might ask you ages of certain things, and it's okay if you don't know exact ages, but if you have a good idea, that's super helpful for me. I'll answer any questions that you have after we get to know each other and take a tour of your home. And then from there, that appointment usually will take 30 to 60 minutes. We want to give you as much time as you need and answer every question that you may have. So after we have that initial appointment, us agents will usually go back and we're going to research the market data in your specific area and create a custom report for you. And I like to have my reports done. I like to have my reports done within 24 hours. So that's a big thing for me. But most agents, it's between 1 and 2 days. So I'm really honing in on your neighborhood, other homes that are very, very similar to yours. And the report that I create is going to be give you pictures of the comparable properties, like which properties are like yours, how long did they take to sell, what was the square footage value of those properties, and it's going to give us an estimated price range that we need to be in. Now, there's no 2 houses exactly alike here in New England. Most houses are a little different, so we may need to make adjustments. If you've put on a new sunroom or you added an extra garage, we will definitely add in credit for those type of things. And then when I'm done with that report, they're pretty thick and they're actually very interesting to read. When I'm done with that report, we're going to then chat on the phone, and I'll tell you what the values are over the telephone. I'm not going to leave you waiting. But then we're going to schedule the next appointment. And after the data's been, the report's been done, the data's been gone through, we'll do a second appointment. We'll schedule a second appointment to sit down and go through that report together. And we'll review it. We'll talk about a strategic plan to get your home ready for the market. What can we do? You know, some people may really think that they have to update kitchens and bathrooms, and that's nice. But in today's market, that might not be the best thing to do, because we don't want to miss that envelope of time where the prices are super high. You know, our market predictors are telling us that, you know, this is going to last just, you know, for maybe a year, but No one really knows. Just today is just the prices are very high for sellers and things are moving very quickly. So what do we do to get you a maximized profit? Well, today it's a really, really big deal to look super, super good on the internet. Everybody goes to websites like Zillow and Realtor.com, and they're searching homes right online. You know, most people do that. They're looking every single day. So we want to make your house look amazing, whether we need to do repairs or not. So the services, I'm going to talk about my services that I provide, but you may want to talk to your realtor or the person that you're working with and ask them if they, you know, what they have for services. So once a price has been established and we're going to pick a time frame of getting a house on the market. Now, I can get a house on the market within a few days, or we could be targeting a few months down the road, or we can keep watching the market and maybe it's going to be springtime. So when we establish our strategic plan, then I'm offering home staging services. That's part of my fee. I bring in a home stager, and that home stager, I like to get her in early on so that we can start working on things right away. The home stager is really hired to do what's called a walk and talk. Now, she has other services available, but that's what we include, is a walk and talk. So basically, she comes through and tells us how to get that house ready so we can get the best pictures that we can possibly get. That might be like putting away knickknacks and little things like that, family photos. We talk about all of that together. After the home staging has been completed, I bring in a professional photographer. So the photographer, this is super important. The days of taking pictures on your cell phone are gone. We want to make sure that we get some great pictures. The next service that I provide would be 3D video tours. Now this is huge today. With the pandemic, we want to bring in traffic that's going to result in offers. So a 3D video tour, I have a team that comes in and they do a tour, a walkthrough tour, video for your house that we can post on all of the internet sites. So basically, this gets a little complicated, but a buyer could put on Google Glasses and they could be inside your home walking around. It's really cool. It's something that I can share. So a lot of us agents are actually reverting to these 3D video tours. Basically, the buyer's walking through before they even schedule their appointment to make sure that the homes that they're seeing are going to be homes that are really going to appeal to them. When we do in-person showings, we are very, very careful. Everybody has a mask and gloves. We, as agents, we turn the lights on, we get the doors ready, and we do very minimal touching, and we only bring in traffic that's, again, going to be resulting in offers. So everyone has a mask, gloves. We provide those. We won't let people in the house without them. We also want to give as much data and information online prior to the visits to the property with the buyers. So I provide floor plans so we can make sure people can like lay out their furniture and really understand how big the rooms are. We have warranty services. There are those people out there that are worried, a home seller, they're worried about how old their boiler is, or they might be worried about some other mechanicals of the home. We can offer home warranties on the homes so that the buyer can feel super comfortable with making that great offer right up front. And today, in today's competitive buyer, with the buyers, they're so competitive that there's many buyers waiving home inspections. So they can revert back to this home warranty. That alleviates any work from the home seller, from you, and the buyer can feel comfortable purchasing the property knowing that if their furnace goes or the water heater goes, that home warranty is going to cover them and after the sale for a year. So that's a very, very important piece. We do lots of marketing pieces. We talk about that together, talk about open houses, and just so much more. So those are things that we would be talking about together. And With that, I'm going to pass, we're going to play a video to give you some testimonials about the Overlook. That video is going to come right from our residents, and then we'll be back to answer some questions for you.
For the last 20 years, we lived on the same lake in Ringe, New Hampshire. That's how we got to be friends, living on that lake. And so giving up retirement, living on a lake, takes a lot of thought, and it's a hard decision to make. But you reach a point where it's just nice to be here and enjoy yourself and be spontaneous.
I thought it was harder when I retired and I was active in community stuff. Now all of a sudden I call this my second retirement because now I really am retired. To get here and just to be able to enjoy everything, it's just very relaxing. We get up every morning and it's just wonderful. I can't imagine not doing this. You can walk down to the library, there's always somebody to talk to, and there are activities, and there will be more of them. And I think that's important.
The people here exuded a warmth and a welcome that we didn't find in
Any other place.
the rest of all the CCRCs that we visited. That stood out among us. We wanted to be on the 5 years too soon. We are maximizing the joy of being in this community. It's not supporting us to keep us healthy. We're healthy, we're vigorous, and we have the gift of being here. It's much easier than I ever anticipated it would be.
I kept saying, we got to get there before the check engine light comes on. It's lovely and peaceful, and that's great. I don't have to get out and mow it or dig up the garden or anything like that. It's great.
We want to know that if one of us needs some help down the road, it's going to be right there, just down the hall. You don't have to move out some other place. You don't have to drive to see each other. You're cared for here, all the way through.
All right, I'm going to go back.
So thank you very much, Michelle. Really appreciate it. Very informative. I know there's even a lot more to it, so I'm sure if people have questions, they can continue to reach out to you offline. But we do have a few questions we'd like to run through. I'm just going to bear with me because I'm going to be reading the questions off to the side, and they may be for me or Michelle. Michelle, I'll let you know when they're for you.
Okay.
Michelle, how long does it take to prepare your house for the market, or can you talk about that process a little bit, getting ready to put your house on the market?
Sure. So it really depends on the house. I have been, I've represented a lot of sellers that moved into the Overlook, and we've had some people that have called me a year ahead of time, and my goodness, we had one recently that we moved within just a couple of days of my first visit. So we can move as quick or as slowly as somebody wants, but it's never too soon to start, toying with that idea and getting the recommendations.
Thank you. Another question that I have here, which is interesting. I think I can start and then hand off to you on it. We've accumulated so much stuff over the course of our years in the house, and it seems like a lot to tackle. So one thing that we do work with and have other resources that certainly our sales advisors and Michelle is aware of as well, that we've worked with folks to prepare to downsize, even looking at the space that they have in their current home. These are residents who moved in, space they have in their current home, their actual things that they're going to be moving in, and how to space plan that and fit everything and prioritize what can go into the apartment. There's actual services that we work with, outside services and providers that tackle that. And also there is the element of I guess that's at the space planning and the weeding out of the stuff. Do you have anything else to add to that, Michelle, or anything?
Yeah, I do. So we have worked really well together with, we have contacts for, yes, we have the move managers, but we also have contacts. We have the home stager. The home stager can be hired after the fact to actually box things up for you and help you organize and get the move ready. We also have a, I've this gentleman very busy this week, but we also have a, I don't want to call him a junk remover, but he'll take debris away from a property, and then he takes all the good stuff and he rehouses it. He does, brings things for charity to different churches and different places in need. So Central Mass Cleanouts, he does a great job with that, and they don't, they really try to repurpose and rehelm as much stuff as possible. They're very reasonable on pricing as well. So that's something I facilitate with people, as well as the movers and so forth.
Yeah, thanks. And almost just a recommendation or a bit of insight. I mean, it is a lot, there's a lot to deal with and a lot of logistics. It is, like I mentioned before, a significant move. It's best to identify or understand, I think, that it is a significant move and that there's a lot to it. But instead of making it an obstacle, or making that mountain in front of you an obstacle from getting you to where you really need to be in your best place and be your best you, these are resources that our sales advisors, Michelle, can help you with. And it is important, I think, to look at the resources available to you, and it becomes less of a mountain and more of something that you can tackle in segments, if that makes sense. So just advising folks to use those resources and at least consider them, because there are some good ones. Next one's how long does it take to prepare an apartment for move-in? So that's on our end. We have apartments that are fully upgraded to our most recent updates and ready to go. We have model apartments included in that are turnkey ready. If an apartment is not fully renovated or has not been renovated yet, for perspective, we can have an apartment renovated in about 60 days, meaning if it's an apartment of interest that someone's just moved out of that had our previous finishes, we could get that prepared in about 60 days. And we do also have move-in ready options. Michelle, can you speak to house sales and selling your home as we're heading into inclement weather in the winter months?
Sure. So we stay busy throughout the year. So what happens this time of year, it's still a great time to sell. Again, there's no inventory. But as we start to get into the colder months and you're thinking about, you just want to get this move done, you want to move on, we stay extremely busy all the way through the winter. What we start seeing right now, probably like in November, we'll start seeing people that they get sentimental. They need to get in before Thanksgiving. They really want to have these holidays in their new home. Christmas is a real big deal. So if we list a home, let's say at the beginning of November, and people want to close out, it's like really important for them to close out before Christmas. They want to spend their holidays there. And again, we stay busy throughout the whole year, and especially with the low inventory.
Thank you. Another question, what if there's a gap in timing? And I think by that it means, what if you need to be out of the house or your apartment's ready, or if there's a gap in the timing, meaning you would like to move into your apartment, but your closing is after the move-in date here in the apartment. We do offer a deferred entry fee program for a 90-day window. And that is because we do face that from time to time, where someone and Michelle, you can probably comment on this too, but someone may want to stage their home effectively, or they're confident it's going to sell, but it's better for them to get out of it, or they're eager to get in on the apartment side here and get everything settled in that fashion and still have a little bit of flexibility to still have the home and make it a smooth transition. Again, if there's a planned closing or anticipated closing, we can defer the entry fee during that 90-day window until you get the proceeds from your closing. That being said, anything else to comment on why someone might want to be out quicker of their house than get into the apartment?
Yeah, yes, definitely. So I've built up a very good relationship with the Overlook, and being, knowledgeable in this area for, such a long time. Overlook has worked together with me. We've done some early moves prior to the house even going on the market. We did one this week where literally I went in to see the woman, recently, and we moved her. We had the movers there within a couple of days. We moved her out. I'm doing the clean out and rehoming of items this week, and we're going to hit the market on Monday. So basically, if we can do that, and we've had that relationship where we have done that several times, where we can move the client into the Overlook ahead of time, defer the payment, and basically, I'm not in your way. I don't have to ask you to leave for showings or get into your space. That's really the best solution. It works out so well, and it doesn't, you're comfortable, you've already moved in, you've got your, your roots planted, you're comfortable in your new space, and we're dealing with the house while you're getting comfortable in your new area. And that is just takes the pressure off of you, and it just makes it so much easier for you.
Yeah, thanks. I know that showing process can be stressful for the homeowner because you have to get it. It's kind of like Groundhog Day. You get it cleaned up every time there's a showing, especially probably with the frequency of showings right now, I'm sure. So,
Right.
Question is there a wait list for apartments currently? We currently have a wait list on a couple of different models, especially larger 2-bedroom models. But other than that, we do have available units. And so it's really a matter of, because we do have a variation and a fair amount of floor plans, different options, it's important to sort of investigate, see what's available and see what works for you. I think that's a big part of the discovery process with our sales advisors. And this is interestingly, it's a long-term move and sales process for us. So in other words, this is not a short-term sale and we go our separate ways. We're looking to try and set people up for success and set you up for a healthy, high quality of life here for an extended period of time. That's really the goal. This is especially in independent living, this is a volunteer move proactively for quality of life and to live a good lifestyle. It's a lifestyle move, not really a need-based move like someone's having trouble or struggling at home and needs to move into a place that with extensive assistance. That's not what this is. So realistically, we really want to make sure that it's a good, that you've vetted your options, that you know what's available to you. We're really providing information and resources to try and come to the best solution we can, both on our side and yours, so that we can get set up for, again, an extended period of quality of life here at the Overlook. We're not going anywhere. We don't make it fail and then take off. We're here together for the coming years after you move in. So we really want to make sure that we're setting it up properly. So again, with the different models of apartments, it's important to get a feel for what works best for you. And our sales advisors are helpful at doing so. It looks like that's about it. Michelle, is there anything else that comes to mind, common questions that you get, anything that you'd like to add?
Yeah, one question that we get quite often is, there's a lot of properties in Massachusetts that have septic systems. And I've had a lot of people ask me, now in Massachusetts, you have to test the septic to be able to sell, and buyers usually need to have a passing system to be able to get their financing in order. So we do have services, and we've built relationship with business partners where we can get septic systems replaced and they get paid for at the closing. So we have a lot of vendors that work in that capacity. So just keep that in mind if there's some big ticket item that you're worried about, talk to me about that. I probably do have a solution for you.
Great. So we've covered our questions. You know, we do not want to drag this on for no reason. We hope that it was extremely helpful and a good use of time for all of our participants today. Really appreciate it. Thank you again to Michelle for being here, and to her team for all the help she's provided and resource she's provided for our residents in the past and ongoing. We really appreciate it. If there are any further questions, we have had the information up there for questions. I know that we're already potentially in touch with you, and continue to ask all the questions you need to of our sales advisors. Again, we're here to be a resource and to help facilitate a move to a high quality of life for yourself and for the coming years. So again, we really appreciate it. Have a great rest of the day. Be safe, and thank you.
Thank you.